out here in the shop, and this is terrible lighting, I know. I'm trying to find some better light. So what we're going to do today is take a walk around the yard, look at the lovely weather we have here in Nova Scotia in this mid-February, and then we're going to do some work on, see if we can get rotate that around and zoom out a little bit here. Andrea's Polaris seems to have a problem, well, several problems, and we're not going to get all of it done today because we don't have all the parts, but her sensor for what's called TBAT, temperature and barometric pressure sensor, and her air intake is got a bad cable, and you could hear the effects of that in the last video. Put some new plugs in it, and I'm going to tear it apart and change the upper and lower steering bearings. And then if we have time, I'm going to replace our temporary heat shield that we put on it because it's melting the plastic down here. So I went to Canadian Tire and got a nice stovepipe insulating wrap that has done a decent job temporarily, but you can still see here where it's letting a lot of heat through and still melting some of this, so we'll sort that out. Got some titanium heat shield wrap and some insulating wrap to put on the back side of this plastic. Try and get that done, but it's not the priority for today. Anyway, I need to go get some tools and take a quick look at the yard. I'll probably have to do a quick shovel job out here. It is intermittently snowing, wet and crappy. Get that shoveled up, and if I have a lot of time, I'll be pulling my CAD in and swapping out that toolbox on the back so that we can put a carrier on it. The carrier I bought is for the Wildcat and Razor ATV side-by-sides, but I think I can put it on the back of there. I'm looking forward to using the fire pit again, and of course the deck. Anyway, so that's where things are at. Quick look in the shop. The shop isn't usable for the side-by-side yet because that door is 2 inches too narrow, but I'll be fixing that as soon as the weather holds up enough to rip this all apart. Get this cleaned out, and then basically this wall and the doorway here. From the doorway over to that support stud in the center, taking that wall out. I've already sold this big lathe, and I'll be selling the small lathe and all a pile of accessories that go with the lathes. I'll keep the woodworking tools for doing the house renovations over on this side, and then this side will become the ATV maintenance shop and motorcycle maintenance shop because we have a few motorcycles too, and other projects and stuff. But as you can see, this is a disorganized mess, so I'll be working on that shortly. Anyway, all weather dependent, guys. Alright, so far got my tools gathered up, sort of, and took the wheels off, got the bike up on couple jack stands so I don't have to worry about it going anywhere. And of course, while I was taking the wheels off, pin came out and I have no idea where it is. So I got extra pins, a big variety box, so I'm sure I can fix it, or I'll figure something else out. But anyway, that's this step. Next step is pulling off the front cover. So as it's all over YouTube, it's easy to look up. I'm not going to get into how to do all this dismantling stuff because there's dozens of really good videos out there, and my videos haven't got that quality yet. So anyway, this is coming off next. Then probably tie rod on the inner. Yeah, you won't be able to see it very well, but take these two inner tie rods off so we can get at this bearing in here. Once all this is off, gas tank's coming off, the ear breather's coming off, Anyway, I'll bring it back when I get a bunch more off and we'll go from there. Alright, so it's a fairly easy job getting it stripped all down to the point, even getting the tire, the holding nuts out for the plate to let everything come out. But this castle nut is frozen on. That's what you get for 15 years of salt water and grime and corrosion. So I've got to go buy a big socket for my impact wrench and see if I can break it free that way. So off I go. I know the lighting's not very good, but this is what it looks like in pieces. So this right here is the TPAP sensor. That's the new cable and new sensor connector that we just put on. This is where down here it gets wired in. So this is all soldered. Each connection is heat shrink and then a bigger heat shrink over top of it, and then everything's wrapped in black tape because that's something Canadians have to use. It's either that or duct tape. And then while I get it off, decided to drain the gas tank, clean the underside of it. I'm just going to rub it down with alcohol now. I bought a much better heat reflector. The heat reflector that was on it is this. It's just garbaged. So redo that. The heaters are keeping us nice and toasty in here. Well, tolerably warm anyway, because we're having an actual winter's day as opposed to a mild day. But all in all, it's looking pretty good. I got another slight issue with these plastics. At some point we're going to buy new plastics for this thing, but it melted the connecting peg for the gray side plate off of here, and so it popped right off when I tried to take it off, take it apart. Haven't told Andrew yet, but anyway, sort that out shortly. So heat shield is now in place. This is the part that sits down here, right where the exhaust heat comes out, right off the main motor there. So the idea is to reduce that. This is 2000 degree gradient heat shield. We got that off of Amazon. Let's see. Good job. So now I'll throw the gas tank back in, start putting the bike back together, go from there. Won't be too much longer, we'll have her running. Alright, so got Andrew's bike all put together, new master cylinders on. We actually moved her fire extinguisher back here, mounted it, drilled it out, mounted the mount to the rack where the side foot pegs are mounted. That'll give it a little more sturdiness. The other thing to look at is these nice new tires and rims that she's got, about 30 miles on them. They're a Canadian product, Traxian, we bought through revco.ca. Awesome place to deal with. We got a few things from them, including the new box I'm going to do next. And as soon as that's all together, I'm going to go put the plow on right now, put the cat in, and get to work on putting the box on it. Okay, so both bikes are in the garage. Got Andrew's plow on. Took one swipe up the middle, beside the truck over there. Snow's wet and packed, so put some effort into that in a little bit, but it's supposed to stop snowing fairly soon, so wait and see. If it doesn't, then I have to do a couple of passes, I guess. Anyway, so this box is just an old toolbox I had. I threw on until I could find something I wanted. I picked this one. It's actually designed for razors and wildcats.
However, I picked it because it'll carry 2 cans of gas. I don't think necessarily the ATV is harder on gas than any other ATV really, but I think my throttle plumb has a problem. Anyway, I can carry 2 cans of gas as opposed to Andrea's 1. And if she needs more, yeah, I can share with her or whatever. But it gives me a lot more cargo storage too. So I'll start working on that and get back to you when it's done. Or something happens. Mine, I pulled the yellow toolbox that's sitting back here. Pulled that off. That was just a quick replacement. And put on this box. Now, if the box doesn't get the GoPro footage, I'll just do a quick recap. It's designed for Arctic Wildcat and a Polaris Razor, and there's down here on each side you can see the screws that are there. Maybe, there we go. There's 2 of those on each side with brackets that come with it, and they're designed to attach to the modern clip system, but they won't work on this one. So one of the things that this box has is a nice double click latch system. It'll stay up when I get in and out of it. This will be where I keep my spare clothes, food, thermoses, that kind of thing. I'm going to put caps on those bolts sticking up from U-bolts as well. But it was super easy to put on. Probably 15 minutes maybe. The other thing that's nice about this is it's lockable. I mean, yeah, if somebody's desperate, they're going to get into it, but it's not something that, you know, it's like any lock. Locks are only going to keep honest people out. And then my front box, see what you can see here maybe. This is my toolbox. And one of my tools that I carry is emergency radio. Some extra bungee cords and just a mess of tools. We've had enough breakdowns over the years, or water and clutches and all kinds of junk, that a lot of it's easily fixed on the trail if you have the right tools. Don't have tools to do a complete teardown, but I try and carry enough tools to do most major work, as well as some extra lug nuts and tire repair kit and pump and all that stuff. So all in all, it's been a good day. This is Andrea's first test ride since we got the buggy put together. Once we got the TBAP sensor in, we figured out that the exhaust donut and the header coming into the main muffler pipe was gone.
These tires seem to be slippery.
Good.
What do you mean?
It'll let you spin. That's because you have power now you didn't have before.
It is wet here.
Yeah, you're going to have to learn how to drive now.
What do you mean by that? I still smell something burning though.
Well, I'm sure that it's going to take a while for that wrap to settle in. I could edit that out, I suppose. Fortunately, we have some room to play. Little test runs anyway. I think she's doing power turns next to a Type R.
You want to take it for a spin?
Sure. Okay, so another issue that we came across when we were working on this thing. This support bar here, you can see there's a hole down through it there, and it is bent. I don't know if you'll be able to see that on video or not, but
basically that was the bottom bar, and this one that's down here now was on the top. So I reversed those because what had happened is the previous owner had been so rough on this that he bent the support bar there. But not only had he bent the support bar, look at the winch mount plate. I don't know if that'll come through on video or not, but I'll try and get a bit of a shot of it. So I'm going to strip that down, take that over to the other shop, put some heat on it, see if I can bend that back up straight, because part of the reason that this, well, actually the original wire cable that was on it had chewed up this so bad was because that support plate was bent down and the fair lead was not able to keep the incoming cable up above this here, so it was just wearing right straight on it, on this support bar on the base as a basically it was a separate fair lead, which is never designed to do. It's just designed to keep the drive motor attached to the clutching system, hold the gaskets in place and everything. It was a fairly simple process to get it out, just unscrew 4 bolts from the back, but getting it back in will probably require 8 hands and 2 monkeys. But anyway, I'll get her done and show you the setup when it's all back together. Thanks. So it's flattened out. The fair lead's still tilted back pretty good, but I'm not sure if it should be that way or not. And I was going to do too much damage to everything else. If it's not right, well, I'll have to buy a new one in the spring and put it on then. Anyway, throw it all back together and have some fun. Now, you can see, trying to get in there, you can see that there's such an angle that's pulled back, but the plate itself is straight. And what it does is that roller that's back in there, if we can maybe get it, yeah, that roller is no longer supporting the rope. You can down across, it's riding on the fair lead where it's supposed to be, so it won't end up chewed up like that top one does. So I don't know how this 3,000 pound winch got so abused on this ATV, but what do you do? It's working good now. It should be a lot easier on that new rope. It's got a couple of spots in it, but we're all hooked up, ready to go.